Om Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to another Yoga Small Talk, and we continue with 7 minutes Bhagavad Gita a day. So in the last talk, we heard Arjuna asking Lord Krishna, what does a man of steady wisdom look like? How does he walk? How does he speak? This is verse 54 of chapter 2. Arjuna said, what, O Krishna, is the description of him who has steady wisdom and is merged in the superconscious state? How does one of steady wisdom speak? How does he sit? How does he walk? So Arjuna heard what it should be like, and then he says, okay, but show me the person. What is the person like? I want to know. And Lord Krishna is starting the answer in verse 55. So we will read verses 55 and 56. The blessed Lord said, when a man completely casts off, O Arjuna, all the desires of the mind and is satisfied in the self by the self, then is he said to be one of steady wisdom. 56. He whose mind is not shaken by adversity, who does not hanker after pleasure, and is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady wisdom. So Lord Krishna is giving here some characteristics, and Swami Shivananda helps us to understand it in the commentary. Commentary to 55. So in 55, Lord Krishna gives his answer to the first part of Arjuna's question. And just a reminder, the first part was, what is the description of a man of steady wisdom? And Lord Krishna says, all the desires in the mind are satisfied, and he is satisfied in the self by the self. So Lord Krishna says this is a desireless person, but not due to some forced renunciation, not due to some momentary distress. It is due to receiving the bigger prize. It says, satisfied in the self by the self. He is completely merged in God. And when this happens, as we said before, all the other desires look like wanting fractured glass, broken glass, when we have diamonds. What good is a drop of water in a place where there is a flood? That was another analogy that was used. So the first characteristics, what is the description? The description is that this person is fully satisfied in the self by the self. He is completely immersed in God all the time, and therefore the desires to worldly objects are gone from such a person. And in 56, Lord Krishna gives his answer to the second part of Arjuna's question as to the conduct. How does he conduct himself? Lord Krishna is saying he's not shaken by adversity and he's not going after pleasures. He's free from attachment, fear, anger. So his mind is steady. We said a man of steady wisdom. Lord Krishna is telling us this person is a person whose mind is steady. He's not shaken by adversities. He's not going after pleasure and pain, etc. And I remember the first time when I read those verses, and a story about Swami Shivananda came to mind. Because Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna, give me the details. Okay, what does it look like in a person? And when we ask what does a guru look like, so in our worldly mind, many times we think, okay, what does he wear? What is the tone of his voice? How does he sit? Where does he live? Of course, he or she, it's just for convenience that I'm using he. But, what does it look like? And Swami Shivananda is telling that many people who were going on pilgrimage through his ashram were coming to see the great sage, Swami Shivananda. And knowing already that he's a great sage, they were expecting to find, a person, maybe like a long white beard, sitting on a tiger skin in lotus, hands like nicely in Chi Mudra, eyes closed, in Samadhi. And then he said they come to the ashram, they see this person. He had a big body, and at a certain age he also had a little bit of a belly. So they see this big man sitting on a couch, wearing an English coat that he liked very much, and dictating to a bunch of disciples that are sitting behind typewriters. And they looked at him and they asked, "Where is the great sage Swami Shivananda? We have come to see him." So it didn't even cross their mind that, they are looking at this sage because he didn't fit the description. And here again, Lord Krishna is reminding us there is nothing to do with externalities. For a person to be a sage, it's a matter of inner feeling, not even a feeling of his inner situation, of the state of his mind. Actually, for a saint, his mind is actually gone. You see, it's even difficult to find the words to describe, but it is an internal thing. It is not an external thing. And Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, you want to know what a sage is like? Look inside. Don't look into how he walks, how he talks. It's different from one person to the other. Some of them have this nature, some of them have that nature. It doesn't matter. It's all in the inside. When his mind is steady, when he's not going after worldly object with selfish motives, because sometimes they will build an ashram and they will want this ashram to succeed. But it is for the greater good, not for selfish motives. And don't ask me how he walks, what he sits on, what he wears. Look at his mind. Look at his inner constitution and you will know. And the description continues in the next verses. So please join us for the next talk to continue the study. Om Shanti.